Hey everyone, happy Monday to all of you out there. My name is Janelle Villiers and I am your host of the Other Side podcast, where we are all about the other side of this mental health journey that we're all on. We're here to learn together so that way we can learn to be better. Excuse me. So we can learn to be better people and grow and develop into the humans that we really want to be. So I'm happy that you're here with me, even though my laptop doesn't want to stay on. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure this doesn't flap over. I think I've got it now. If you're watching live and you're seeing all of this drama take place, go ahead and put an L in the comments and let me know that you're watching this live. We are live. Things are really happening. My computer really did fall. But we readjust, right? Champions readjust. If you were watching this on the replay, go ahead and put an R in the replay and say, yep, I saw it, Janelle. It all happened. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. Let me know. I am happy to be with you all today as we discuss another topic surrounding our mental health. Specifically, this is like right up to, let's just talk about mental health, period, right? Hey, Adam. So let's just talk about mental health like directly, right? How can we protect our mental health? How can we do it? What are some systems, what are some things that we can put in place to help us be better at protecting our mental health? Because as we all know, if this is not okay, it is very difficult to get the rest of this to be okay. Literally, you can be dealing with anxiety, depression, all sorts of things, and it can lead to physical breakdown in your health as well. So we want to make sure that we really address that and protect it. I think also you may find that many of us are doing these things. So I wanted to just acknowledge that as well. You could be doing all of the things that are working really well. And so what are those things? And maybe we should list them so we can know if we're doing them, if we're not doing them, or there are things that we can add. Maybe we're doing some, but not all. So let's get into the top 5 things that you can do to protect your mental health. Number 5, build a support system. Finding people who can help acknowledge that you are, trying to be your healthiest you can be in terms of your mind. Sometimes these communities can be online. They don't always have to be in person, although in person, statistically speaking, and all of the studies show that in person is the best because there's something about the human connection that we all need. It helps with our mental health. It helps with our well-being for us to do that. So in person, social connections that you can make in person, highly, highly, highly recommend. But if you can't get access to that, doing them virtually is good and is a very good plan B. You can still get the oxytocin and all of that just by chatting with people who are there to support you, letting off some steam. Whether the things that you're talking about are struggles that you're sharing or just simply talking about your mental health in general, any of these things could be really helpful in person or virtually. I'd also like to say for women out there, I recently saw a study that said that so as we are going about our lives, particularly as we're getting older, women who are in their 40s or above, we just tend to hold on to fat a little bit more than when we did when we were in our youth. And one of the things that only exacerbates that is the amount of cortisol levels that remain in us. And cortisol levels increase the more stress you have. So the more stress you have, the more cortisol, the more fat, right? And so the natural way to remedy that situation is to get more oxytocin production in your body. And one of the best ways for women to do that is to find a community of women. It could even just be one other person, your best friend, who you get to talk to. So many studies have found that this produces oxytocin, thus banishing the cortisol and helping you reduce the amounts of fat that you have. So ladies, getting together with other ladies actually helps you, right? Like you can burn fat this way, you're not storing it. So go out and find a system. Men, I know that the study that I showed only talks about women, but I guarantee you cortisol is not helping men either. So do what you can to find whether it's a co-ed support system or it's one like the same one that you are. Whatever you do, make sure that you actually put it in place. Start off with virtual if that's easier, and then work your way into meeting in person. I think this is one of the things that we probably overlook a lot. Hugs. Thank you, Adam. I was going to talk about hugs. One of the reasons why you should meet in person is because you can give hugs. And there are many studies that show 8 hugs a day are the amount of hugs that we need in order to maintain our mental health. Those hugs increase oxytocin. For men specifically, they need to be embraced in the embrace for a longer time than women. So please count to 10 when you're in the embrace of a hug and one of those people just happens to be a man. Please do it for a little bit longer than you would want to. It takes them a little bit longer for the oxytocin to be released, but you need at least 8 hugs a day. So get those in. That's why doing things in person is very helpful. All right, number 4, prioritize professional help. This is honestly, we're talking about therapists, psychologists, maybe even psychiatrists. And I think that people think that, so I think there's still a taboo in certain communities, whether you or not you should do that. Some people think, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy. I can't let anybody know. And I'm here to tell you it is normal. It's totally normal to seek out someone who's been trained to talk to you about things that could be impacting your mental health. So I would prioritize meeting with a professional. Your best friend and your mother, sometimes it's not enough, right? Because they haven't been trained in this area. So definitely want to prioritize that. Number 3, create a mental wellness routine. So I think, so as an entrepreneur, I think sometimes this is even harder for us because we always want to go and do the things that we know is going to make our business work. We want to be there for our clients. We want to do all the other things in the back to market, to make sure that we're collecting people who can use our services. That way we can actually provide those services. And then you want to maintain the clients that you have. And so you can get so bogged down in that. I'll give you a real story. Last week, Wednesday, I sat where I am sitting from 8 in the morning. I had a meeting at 8 in the morning and my last meeting ended at 8 p.m. I literally sat in the same spot for 12 hours. And I have to tell you, I left. I was like, oh my God, I have to make sure that I don't do that again. We've got to fix that because that's not sustainable. So whether you're someone who is working in the professional world, you're working at a job, or you're an entrepreneur, it's really critical that you create a mental wellness routine. And that's going to look different from everyone, but it's definitely going to include a daily practice, something that you do just for you. This could be a gratitude journal, right? You wake up and you write down 3 things that you're grateful for, right? The first thing in the morning. For some people, that's a whole meditation. It's not just writing down 3 things you're grateful for, but just meditating and being present in the moment. Yoga is really helpful for that. I call yoga a moving meditation because it really helps you focus in the moment that you're in instead of like the to-do list that usually pops up later. Breath work is really good for this. Breath work is excellent. I highly recommend the 4-7-8 box breathing method. If you've never heard of it before, essentially you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for a count of 8. Highly, highly recommend that. Walking, going for a daily walk in the day, huge mental health benefits. There's something about being out in nature, getting the vitamin D from the sun, just, movement, right? Because again, we sit in front of a desk for so long and it's so important to get up and be not still. Just don't be still. There's something about movement that also helps the mind. And so make sure that whatever you're doing, that these daily practices that you're putting in are non-negotiable. They're non-negotiable parts of your self-care. We're not negotiating, well, maybe, no. You're always going to get this in. You're taking care of yourself first because nobody's going to take care of you like you are going to take care of you. So please make sure you 3, create a mental health wellness routine. Number 2, outsource and delegate. We do not have to be everything to everybody. We don't have to be that. So if there's something that you can delegate, if there's something that you can outsource, please do it. I mean, the simple things, like if I was having a conversation with a friend the other day and I said, I used to outsource my laundry. I used to actually send out my laundry. Somebody would wash it and fold it for me. And there was something super luxurious about that. It just felt really, really lovely. And you know what? It cost a little bit more money than what it would have cost me to wash my own laundry. But I found it that I could do other things during that time that the laundry was getting washed and folded. I could work on my business. I could do yoga. I could go for a walk. I could focus on things that really were, brought me joy, that helped with my mental health and the outcome, maybe even of my business. And so whatever that is, whatever you can outsource or delegate, I mean, I'm talking about laundry, get somebody else to wash the dishes, ask somebody, catch the other episode that I did a while back where I gave you tips on how you can ask for help without making it seem like a demand. Go back to that episode, please, or maybe I'll attach it to this one at the end of this so you guys can just tap on it quickly if you're watching the recording. But it is really, really important, I think, that we all get better at asking for help. I think a lot of us think that we're supposed to do everything on our own, and that isn't good either, because we cannot be everything for everybody all the time. We will literally, I feel like that's the definition of burnout. It just isn't sustainable. You can't do that. And so please start to work on it. I say that I feel like I'm talking to myself. I'm not good at, one, saying I need help, and two, like figuring out, okay, if I need help, what can the other person do to help me out? So we need, if it's something that you need to work on it, I ask of you that you join me in actively getting better at this. So maybe you put into practice asking for help once a day. Ask somebody to help you out one time a day. Get out of your comfort zone and just ask for help. I know for many people, they think, oh, this is going to make me look weak. It's going to look like I'm in over my head. It's going to make me look like I just don't know what I'm doing. So I highly recommend that you outsource and delegate. That is definitely my oven. It is singing to me. Oh God. Okay. Number 1, radically accept yourself. So that is the number 1 thing that you can do in all of the different steps that we talked about. I talk about this a lot in my book. If you haven't already read my book, it's called I Slept with a Married Man. Am I Still a Good Person? I talk a lot about shame-based thinking, and shame-based thinking is thinking I am not good enough, I am not worthy, I am unlovable, I am not beautiful, I'm not handsome, I am not, right? It's a lot of I am not, I'm a mistake, I'm a failure, I'm a burden. And when you have those types of thoughts, it's really hard to accept yourself radically, because you think that something is wrong with you. You ultimately think that you are bad. And so what I highly recommend is that you start to look at those things and start to figure out, why is it that you're thinking that way? And why is it that your mind goes to that direction? And another video I did, we went over this. I talked about a life as a tool. It's an acronym for a lot of different things, but essentially it's a tool to help you start to unravel some of that, so that way you can identify your value. And one of the things that I found really, still singing, one of the things that I found really helpful is acknowledging that when you have a lot of shame-based thinking, it is really hard to accept yourself. I just want to remind you that accepting yourself is not something that you do by accident. It's not something that happens sort of. It's something that you have an intention towards. You make a decision to accept yourself. It's not something that you're going to feel like, not something that you're going to like fall into. You have to decide. You have to decide to accept yourself with all the wrinkles, all the dimples, all the pimples, all the hair in the wrong place, all of the things that you don't like about yourself, all the things that you failed and tried and failed, and etc. All of that. You just have to decide to accept all of it. So here's a recap. Here are the 5 different ways that we can protect our mental health. Number 5, build a support. Here are the 5 ways that we can protect our mental health. Number 5, build a support. Why can't I say this word? A support system. Number 5, build a support system. Whether that's virtual or if it's in person, either way, please do it ASAP. You need to get those 8 hugs in. And remember, if you're hugging a man, he needs at least 10 seconds. Number 4, prioritize professional help. It's okay. It's totally okay and normal to seek out someone who's been trained to work with you on your mental health. Number 3, create a mental wellness routine. I don't care if it's yoga, breath work, if you need to yoga, breath work, take a walk, meditation, any of those things, the gratitude journal, any and all of them work. But whatever it is, you need to make it a priority. It's a non-negotiable. This is something that you're doing every single day. Number 2, outsource and delegate. Please, let's start asking people for help. Let's outsource and delegate. Remember, you cannot be everything to everyone all of the time. And number 1, radically accept yourself. It's a choice. It's not something that you're going to feel like doing. Make sure that you work on it. You choose yourself every single day until it begins to feel like you actually feel like you're doing it. That is my time, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. If this has been helpful, please share it to somebody else. I know it can bring value to so many other people. Thanks again for joining me. I will see you next week, Monday. Have a wonderful, amazing night and an amazing rest of your week. Take care, everyone. Bye.